I'm Kameron Parker. I go to Dr. Henry A. Wise, and I play running back.
My name is Coach Terrell. I coach up at Dr. Henry A. Wise High School.
My first encounter of you back at Wise High School, very first session, doing leadership and character development. We're talking about accountability, right? Accountability, and we're talking about the buddy system. There's a military reference called the 6 system, right? Got my six. And the military guy can see at 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, but he can't see at 6 o'clock, right? And I'm discussing the 6. And it's all about accountability, someone holding your back, someone having your back. But you decided to interject. You came in and you said something. You were polite about it, right? You wasn't off with it, but you were polite about it, and you said something that elevated the conversation. You said something called a Blue Falcon? Yeah. A Blue Falcon. And from that point forward, I said, who is this guy? He knows something, and how you elevated the conversation, it was just powerful. Then the second encounter that I had with you was the very first game of the season. We go all the way out to, where we at, Norfolk, Virginia? And before we went to battle, you told everybody to bow their heads, and you said a powerful prayer that blew my mind. I said, I knew it was something special about that guy. My first encounter with you, Cam. First encounter, seeing you on the field. Smallest person, biggest heart. Smallest person, biggest effort, energy, blood, sweat, tears. Championship game this year. Scores 21-7. I'm about to leave, honestly. I'm like, man, my guys ain't show up. I gotta go somewhere. And I said, let me watch this kickoff. Got the kickoff, boom, ran that thing back. You sat me down. But even before then, I knew that you were one of them ones, because even in our sessions, you were always engaged. First person to raise your hand, first person to talk back. That's leadership, that's character. And that's when I knew that you were one of them ones. Appreciate y'all for coming, man. Thank y'all. Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Yes, sir.
I'm Coach Hooks, been working with this podcast. Really glad to see both of y'all today. We're definitely diving into mental toughness. The biggest thing, just to kind of kick us off, when you hear mental toughness, right? Mm-hmm. And I heard, in our last podcast, shout out to Khalil, your name came up, just hearing that you were one of them guys. So someone who didn't really watch to work with you, just being in this room is very respectful. But when you think about mental toughness and being one of them ones, what comes to mind when you hear that word?
Honestly, mental toughness, it takes a lot, But when I hear it, I think about being able to push through anything that life gives you, like anything that's difficult, you be able to just kind of push yourself past that limit to be able to get to where you need to be.
I want you to walk away from this podcast, not just listening and hearing and seeing it. I want you to walk away with a certain level of mental toughness that'll help you succeed wherever it is that you want to succeed in your life. So take on the 30-day challenge. Yep, that's right. Step into the challenge if you're up for it. Come on, where your muscles at, right? Step into the 30-day challenge. This is where you get a chance to get the discipline. This is where you get a chance to really peel back the layers on mental toughness and get that accountability that you need in order for you to succeed. So don't just watch the podcast. No. Get to the end of the video, boom, tap into the classroom and enter into the worksheets, the textbook, everything, right? Take advantage. This is an opportunity of a lifetime. It is for me, and I know you're going to get something out of it today, so I'm excited for you. Listen, take the podcast, go all the way with this thing, and I'll see you at the end. Let's get started, let's go get it, and let's finish it.
And I knew when he first encountered with you, but you as his brother, right, and seeing this game and being a coach for a little while, when did you know that he was one of them ones? Like, what was that first moment, youth league or practice or workout question or, something that you saw in him that you were like, okay, my little bro, like, really, he really could be one of them?
Man, if I had to be honest with you, it had to be at least probably within the last 2 years. And I'm not saying that he wasn't mentally tough prior to that, but I think that the exact definition of what we're talking about and how he exemplified it, I think, was in the last 2 years. I think that Cam always had the talent, but I think that anxiety used to overtake him. And sometimes, no matter how much you prepare, no matter how much you push forward, sometimes when those moments hit, sometimes your body decides to react a certain way. And Cam used to operate, and he used to be a lot more pessimistic. And I think something happened with him. I think a switch happened. And he has a frame of mind now of, hey, man, like, I really don't care what anybody else thinks. Like, I'm going to put my best foot forward. The outcome is going to be the outcome. But one thing that you never can say about me is that I didn't put my best foot forward. As well as, I'm not saying he's not completely not pessimistic, but I will tell you that he's a lot more optimistic about his ability and what he can do, and not more so proving others wrong, but more so proving himself right. So from that standpoint, that's when I started to be like, yeah, nah, like, he's a guy. You know?
When you say the switch, right? Like, what it like talk to me about that. Like, my switch was when I was coming up around Mayfair in DC, Northeast DC, right? Coming up in Mayfair, maybe 8 or 9 years old. I had a Batman bike. I took the training wheels off that junk, riding it in my neighborhood. You know, in DC, it's ruthless out there. Of course, somebody came and stole my Batman bike. And I'm like, man, all right, they got it. It is what it is. But my big sister, she said, nah, we ain't having that. And there was an older guy by the name of Sean. Rest in peace, Sean. He passed away just recently. But he stole my bike. And my sister took me by my hand and said, nah, we're going to go get your bike. And I had to look him in his eyes and say, yo, I need my bike back. Right? And that was my breakthrough moment of mental toughness, not giving up. Because I was really about to give up until my sister came in and was just like, nah, we ain't going for that. Like, what was your introduction to mental toughness? That was mine. But was it something that happened in your life where it was just like a trigger, just a light switch hit? Like, what was that thing? What was that moment?
It's two things, I would say. So coming out of, after I finished my 8th grade season, I genuinely wanted to stop playing football. You know, I tried at least twice, I believe. But, you know, sitting down with Rel, you know, we had that talk to be able to be like, hey, man, like, you got something in front of you that's going to get you somewhere that, you know, you're good at. Why not keep trying to get better at it and see where it really goes? And that's like, I was like, all right, I'll do it, you know what I mean? Ended up going into high school, having a great freshman year. It was amazing. Honestly, I really enjoyed it because I like how much I benefited from it. I like the attention I was getting from it. You know, it made me feel like I was, you know, really doing something for myself. Then, you know, I had that same feeling like, man, like, I don't know if I really want to do this. Sophomore year, you know, I didn't play as much, but I was still doing my thing. Like, I was still getting better. I was still making plays, scoring touchdowns, getting yards. Like, I played kickoff return, kickoff, all the special teams you can name of. But and it's also a thing of not wanting to disappoint the people that I have around me. So my brother, like my family in general, like, I think them wanting to see me be great and me not wanting to fail or feel like I didn't fulfill something that I knew I could have been great in. So I just want to be able to make them proud and be, you know, something like, you know what I mean, like something other than what people call basic, you know, being able to achieve something different than what my family has. So.
I want to dive back into the pessimistic side because I think I can relate to that. Has that driven you to, like, you know what I mean, like, because if everything is, like, for me, like, I'll just say handling pressure, I kind of need to be my biggest critic, my own, you know. But it's like, does that help you? Or like, why would you, someone said that, but how would you answer that? And like, how have you used that to push yourself to be, you know, where you're at today or where you want to go?
Yeah, so that, like, I used to be in my head, like, a lot. I'll be super anxious because I don't know what's going to happen. Like, that was my thing. Like, I was scared about what I didn't know. So kind of countering it with my ability, so knowing that what I can do in the game or outside of the game helped me be able to, like, kind of silence the noise that I had in my head, to be able to, like, play the game, like, slow it down, just have fun, kind of, and not worry about the things that could go wrong, but worry about the things that can go right.
That's good.
And when you say when things didn't could have gone wrong, tell us a little bit about your story about, you know, you graduated from 1's, you know, you've coached now in 1 states, he played in 1 states, but you had a little bit of different story, and maybe that, tell us how that even prepared you to have that conversation with your brother who was at that fork in the road about, do I want to, you know, be a dog in this game or not?
Yeah, nah, for me, man, like I said, my path in life was just a little bit different. I was raised by my grandparents, so it was a lot different path. Like, the support system that my grandparents provided was great, but it wasn't anything where they had the energy to pour into me and the extracurricular activities that I needed, to be honest. And so because of that, I was always in the way. My best ability was my availability, and that was just being in the way. That wasn't it wasn't on the field. It was like, you know what I mean, whatever was going on that was hot, I wanted to be around type deal. And so for me, having the ability to be able to play, because I mean everybody wants to tell you that, you know, they neighborhood heroes and that they can ball out. Like, I think everybody's going to tell you that, but you know, I mean, I had a true ability to where actually, like, me and a couple of the boys who didn't have great grades, man, we went and practiced football every day. I just put all that time, effort, energy into the wrong place. And, you know what I mean? So for me, kind of learning from those mistakes and understanding that, like, look, man, like, you know, and I'm sure we'll probably tap into it in a bit, I'm not sure, but you know, when I had the opportunity to take my brothers in, it was all about trying to pour something into them that necessarily wasn't poured into me. And, you know what I mean, making sure that the cup that I have is actually something that's fruitful for him. And, you know what I mean, when he has the blinders on about his own life, to try to make sure I'm there in position to help take those blinders off. No matter how much you want to put it back on, it's like, nah, man, like, you just got to see the bigger pictures and not the trifles. So,
yeah. And when you think about, like, when you said you had to take your brother in, that's what I look at mental toughness as. There has to be, like, some pain. There has to be a pain point. Like, the pain point for me, I tell a story all the time. It took me 5 years to graduate high school. That was a pain point for me because when I saw this man walk across the stage, I'm like, and I'm still in high school, he goes off to college. I'm like, what? And I'm still here? That was pain for me. So I'm a firm believer that in order for you to have mental toughness, there has to be some level of pain. Something has to be driving you. Mm-hmm. I want y'all to share with me, like, what's those pain points? All right, what are those pain points that you pull from in the fourth quarter, 2 minutes left, and we need a big play? What are you thinking about? What are those pain points? What's driving you? Right? Something has to be driving your passion. Something has to be fueling you. Like, what's that pain point that you pull from?
I mean, I know how it feels to lose, especially in big games, man. Like, it honestly sucks. So when it comes to, like, when we played Kings Fork, you know, we had chances that we could have won that game. And so me being the person that I am, I envision the outcome, the good outcome of my team celebrating, like, we celebrating together, everybody's happy, you know what I mean? So I want that for myself, but I also want that for them. So I have to push past my limits to be able to get that, like, because I want it. Like, that's something I want. I don't want to lose. I hate losing. So in order for us to win, I have to do my part to be able to push past my limits so they can be great too.
So because you know what pain feels like, you know what losing feels like, that pushes you, that drives you to go harder in those moments. Yeah, for sure. And same for you.
Man, for me, I think it's more so in life. I think my general pain point came from the passing of our mom, you know what I mean? And like, I look at that situation, man, and how it kind of unfolded and, you know, et cetera. But just looking over the life that my mom had, you know, I look at it in the sense that, man, it's tragic on how she left. But I'm gonna do everything that I can to make her proud, you know what I mean? And so, like, I know that the life that she lived, man, like, I look at it in her spirit and things that she had gone through in life, and I know that's not a life ultimately that she would have wanted for her or her sons. You know, my mom had 3 sons. And so for me, I would look at it from the standpoint of, like, all right, man, like, what's the type of life that my mom would want for herself, her kids, and also what would she want for her son, and how can I make her proud? So, like, when I'm going through it, you know what I mean? Like, that's a constant reminder. Like, when I see Cam or I see my kids, it's a constant reminder, man. Like, I got to be the example of, like, what she wanted to be for me, but ultimately couldn't. So, yeah, that's where I pull from.
I just want to give rest in peace to your moms, man. She should be definitely proud. And you know, I would say, just to reflect, my mom, you know, she's still here, is a pivotal point in my successes, right? I would say my journey, I would say, is never done. my mom had that real conversation with me. I'll never forget. And she was telling me, first thing she said was, I love you, but I'm not proud of you. And I wanted to reverse that. And that's when I kind of created the 480 Club and kind of got really heavy into coaching and giving back and turning my pain into purpose. So now that my mom sees me, she's smiling, she got grandkids, you know, she can Google me and see positive things and stuff like that. It really brought her life and it gave me a life that I could, you know, reflect on, live off of too. And so, you know, just that pain point. But I'll even say before that, when I was in college, Shepherd University, shout out Coach Trey, you know, we from there. Like he's doing them heavy squats, you know, I would think about my mom, them long hours working, but also those doubters too. You know, I never forget, like I was not always the best player growing up, and I had to kind of shift my body and work double hard to get past guys that were scoring 10 touchdowns a season or plus. And so I remember just one time we were at South Valley Park, and we were just at the field, and we had a race, and everybody was like, swore I was going to lose, and I beat everybody. And it was just kind of a wake-up boy, like, yo, I'm here. And then eventually they wanted to work out with me. Right. And so just, you know, that mental toughness, I could have folded and be like, yo, I'm just going to be a regular basic guy. I'm going to just, you know, be a fan, go on their Twitter, like them, say, you know, you a dog. But I'm going to say, I'm going to be one of them, though. I'm tough, you know what I'm saying? My mom was tough. You know, my life was tough. And so, you know, I think that kind of drove me to even reflect and help other dogs get along the way, because, you know, not even just on the field, off the field, people will have some mental things that are going on that they need some tough love for, and that's the type of coach I am, is tough love, right? So I'm sure being at Wise, you got a lot of that. You talked about that earlier when we met, about how I prepared you for those moments, and I think I'm looking forward to following your career.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. And you serve, man. You serve, man. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Thank you for, you got to take me there. Yeah, right. You got to be mentally tough, bro.
Yeah, how that boot camp like, you know, because that's one thing I tell one of my best friends growing up served in the Army, went over to Afghan, Iraq, and I was like, I'm over here in football camp, but I don't know if I could do that, you know. So tell me about that, man. What's that like? You know?
Man, quick, funny little snippet on it, man. My first day. So what happens? Of course, everything seems smooth up until you get on that final bus to actually go on base and to get to boot camp. And once you get there, you know, I mean, they literally they strip your whole life away from you bit by bit as you get in. So you get off the bus, you get yelled at. You sit in a room, you get to what's called the Diddy issue room. No Diddy, not that. But long story short, you take everything that you have, all your belongings, put it in a box, and you send it home. They give you they issue you your uniform, and then you you go to your compartment, and you pretty much go to sleep. Like, they keep you up that first 36 hours. That's the first thing. So you straight off the bus, stayed up 36 hours. Man, my first night that I was there, man, I think I laid in the bed, and I think I shed a single tear, and I was just like, why am I here? That was my whole thing, because I was sitting back and I was looking around, or just thinking about my friends back at home. And I'm like, ain't nobody else choose this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm the only one around my circle that's doing what I'm doing. And I had to overcome that mindset of more so why me in that circumstance. Then I had to kill my pride too, man, because I think some people look at the military and they look at it like, man, I can't get yelled at, or I got a problem with authority. Like, that's a whole thing, especially amongst men. Like, that's the first thing that we think about. It's like, what you gonna do when a grown man is yelling at you in your face? Are you just gonna sit there and take it? And most of us gonna answer, nah, I ain't gonna do that. But I had to I had to think about it in the sense of understanding that the small sacrifices, right? Because ultimately, if I told you that you could set up your entire life in 2 months, would you exchange that? And so I had to start putting time frames to it. I said, man, I'm exchanging 2 months of my life to be able to set up the rest of my life. And I said, so no matter what it is, you guys gotta learn how to play the game. So mentally, I had to start tricking myself in a matter of just like, dog, this is temporary. Pain is temporary. It's a long game. You know what I mean? So that small sacrifice set up the alley-oop for me to slam dunk a whole lot of stuff more down later in life. So you know what I mean? That boot camp after that singular day became so much easier. Yeah.
And the training that you go through in the Navy, the training that you go through in the Navy, I can imagine how intense that is. So when you come back to high school, how do you balance that?
Yeah.
Like, how do you the mental toughness that you have to have in the is totally different from high school or coach a little league or things of that nature. Like, and your father, right? Your father got a daughter on the way. Like, how do you, even in your relationship, how do you calm the mental toughness down or have that sweet spot?
Look, can I tell you, it took a long time to get
For all of us, yeah.
It took a long time to come to balance, man. But I think it was hard for me because, kind of give a small timeline, I went to boot camp August 2014. I got assigned to my ship the end of December 2014. We did a year's worth of workups. So out to sea 3 days to 2-3 weeks at a time. We're in port, out of port, in port, out of port. It's hard to, and mind you, my wife and I just got married in 2014. So it was kind of like, it's hard to have a healthy relationship being in a brand new spot, right? So like it took mental fortitude in that sense. 2016, I deployed, come back, my son is born 2 months later. 2 months after, or a month after that, Cam, my brother, my mom, all comes and visit on that Christmas. 3 weeks later, everything changes with my mom. And so, like, I'm navigating not just being active duty in the military, but I'm also learning to navigate a ton of other life. Like, you know what I mean? So like, well, I'm trying to make sure that Cam, Monty, my wife, my son are completely in good standing. I'm going through a harsh depression during this time period. Like, I mean, this was harsh. And so in turn, a lot of times, though I was making sure that they were fine, indirectly, in a lot of ways, they were almost like my punching bag in some type of ways, right? Not physically, of course, but just like as far as whether that's pent up anger or whatever may be the case. And so like it took a lot of like healing. I can't even tell you that I went through a lot of therapy, but it was a lot of self-discovery in the sense of just like, dog, like they're my why, but why am I taking out my issues on them? And so like I had to continue to navigate that to the point to now to where like when I correct me if I'm wrong, because you and I was with me, but I felt like I'm a lot more, approachable and things, and a lot more, because mind you, coming from all of that can make you callous, that can make you bitter, that can make you angry. But having the mental fortitude to be able to talk to not just Cam, but my son, and the other players in high school that I coach, even my son's team who I coach. But trying to look at it from that standpoint of just like trying to instill life lessons, the things that I've already gone through. And so, you know what I mean? Like I've quit on things. I don't want to see that for Cam. I want you to be able to see it through. You know what I mean? And same thing for my son. Like I'm really trying to get him to understand the more so the mental toughness portion of it right now. You know what I mean? And I think that's the next step for him. And I think he's starting to kind of realize like, all right, man, like I'm 9, but he's getting what I learned much later in life right now.
How does that impact the WISE program? I mean, not only, so you play for your brother, but just the other players, like what would they say? Or how has WISE incorporated your Navy path to the program? I know a lot of times, without meeting you today, I would have known that, but I think it's a blessing that you can infiltrate such a successful developmental winning program. How has the Navy in your path, influenced, not only your brother on the field, but others?
I think my Navy background helps in a lot of ways, but I think it's more so like the spiritual aspect for me as far as just following God that I try to focus and lean in on. You know what I mean? Like for the Navy, we had a mantra, right? Honor, courage, and commitment. Like that's kind of like how I carry myself. And I think those life lessons is what I try to push forward. So like the two, and Cam has heard me say both of these things before. But the two messages I've always preached my 4 years of being here is two things. And I don't know if this is going to a younger audience. I don't really curse, but some people look at it, But I have a saying of where I say either you can be an ordinary nigga or you can be an extraordinary man, right? And the difference or the thing that they actually have in common is choice. And so that's the one message that I always preach. And the second message is 99% of football is an F. And a lot of people start to question
Say it again.
Yeah. 99% of football is an F. And so, players usually ask, like, what does that mean, coach? Like, you know what I mean? Like, 99% is It's an A in my book, you know, because I always lead the question with, do you know what 99% of football is? They're like, oh, it's an A. I said, nah, it's an F. Because I look at it from the standpoint, like I coach DBs. I said, all right, cool. A DB can have great feet. You can have great eye discipline. You can have, great jab at the line of scrimmage. You can jam them. You can run stride for stride with them. You can squeeze them to the sideline. But when the ball's in the air, you ain't play the hands. You ain't play the ball. At the end of the day, you did all your job up to the point to where it was like, all right, cool, I ain't gonna cash the check. You ain't finished. Right. And so that's where I'm sitting back and I say it's the two things. It's the power of choice and then it's the ability to finish. Those are the two messages that I try to bring anytime I coach.
Yeah, that's so good. That's so good. Man, you said something about spirituality, and I want to ask y'all this. Do you think mental toughness is spiritual or is it natural? All right, when I think of mental toughness, I think of, what's the guy in the Marvel movies with all the diamonds? What's his name? Thanos, right? When I think of Thanos, when he gets all the diamonds, he's snatching their souls, right? And to me, when I see that movie, it's allegory. It's allegory, and it's representing that mental toughness, that being at the top is something spiritual, right? And I'm a firm believer that when we tap into these modes where we cannot lose, we refuse to lose, like whatever it is in our lives, it's nothing that can stop you. Like if your daughter is under a car right now, you're going to pick that car up. Mm-hmm. And for me, that's something spiritual, right? Like what is your thought process on mental toughness being a natural thing or more spiritual?
I think it's both.
Okay.
All right. So I think it's both. So from my standpoint, my own personal belief, I think from a natural side of things, right? The Bible tells us that we are called to be in the world, but not be of it, right? So we are called to be in part of this world, to be able to thrive, have purpose, do things within this world. But then on the other hand, we are called to walk in the Spirit. I look at it from that standpoint of God made me in His image. I know who my God is. I know what Christ has done. So why couldn't I have mental fortitude, right? But I think in the sense of it all, in the grand scheme of things, when it comes to the center of that, which God gives us, is the power of choice. And I think the first step into teaching mental toughness is kind of holding a mirror up to somebody and not holding the mirror up to them in like disgust, but more so trying to show them like, hey man, like this is the areas of which I see that you are weak in. These are the areas of which I think we can improve in X, Y, and Z. And the reason why I say that is because when a person sees that, if that is hitting them, the fact that you genuinely care for this person, I think sometimes breaks barriers and walls down. But then the next point after that, the next level after that has to be the power of choice to say, you know what, like you're not standing against me. And I see that you want better for me, so I have to want to feel better or be better for myself. Once I feel like a person does have that choice or chooses to actually step into that, that's when I think it's like, all right, cool, now we trial run this thing. Because I think I'm not dogging younger generations because I ain't that old, but I think I got a couple, right? But I think in Cam's generation, coaching since 2017, I think a lot of times, man, kids rather stand on the outside of that because they see what everybody else is doing. But also, it's easier for them to disassociate themselves from everything. So it's like, instead of having an emotional attachment to this, it's like, it is what it is. And like, I'm cool with just being along with the ride instead of like investing into this emotional. Yeah. That's completely off kilt. And when you don't have that, it's hard to teach it because it's like, hey man, you disassociated yourself from it completely. You're callous to the moment. And you know what I mean, desensitized to what's going on in the atmosphere. Like you've seen it in the sense, and you brought it up earlier, and I appreciate that. But like, and I'm just using it as an example, but like when I do those team prayers, I always lead with, hey man, really tap in with this. Let it impact you, right? Because you have to feel it. Like, you know, life or death is in the power of the tongue. And so if you don't really actually buy into what you're trying to do, if you don't buy into the things that you're trying to say, like you can have all these objectives that you set, you know what I mean? But if you're not emotionally tied to it, you know what I mean? It's just not gonna work.
I think you veered me over to your side of saying both. Because when I was at the championship game and you ran that kickoff back, I saw all spiritual. I don't know what it was. But when you think about it, right, it was naturally happening, but it was just something special about that moment, you know, and that caused me to kind of question whether or not mental toughness is a spirit. But I think you on to something. It could be both. It could really be both. Now take me back to that moment, right? I'm about to get up and leave. I'm about to walk out of here. Kickoff comes. 21-7, probably about the second or third quarter. And you just got hit pretty hard. You got hit pretty hard before that, right? And we're gonna mention that. We're gonna mention that because that needs to be a part of the story.
Was that Rigo's hit?
Yeah, don't do too much. Don't do too much.
We're gonna get Rigo on here next, man. I'm gonna call you your dad, all right? No more hitting my man though. But
Right. But you took a big hit, but you took it and you just bounced back up. It wasn't nothing.
Yeah, I mean, they picked up a first down after that.
After that, right? And you can jump in there.
I mean, when it comes to being hit, I'm used to it, bro. Like that hit that I had with Rico, man, I ain't feel none of that. Like to me, it was soft. You know what I mean? So being that, like, I can get back up from that. Like, that type of stuff don't affect me at all. So.
Yeah. And I've seen you throughout the season. You come to the sideline and nobody knows it, but you hurt, and you still getting back out there. Yeah. So same thing at the state championship game. You pop right back up. And as I'm about to walk out, you get the kickoff, boom, you catch it. Take me through your mindset. Like, what's happening in the brain of Cam as soon as that, because we're down.
He would know better than to kick it to me. And I love it.
That was the only time that they kicked it.
They failed, so. But me and my man Majay, you know, me and him the returners, so we trying to, because if they line up on the hash, then they gonna kick it down the hash, you know what I mean? So we trying to decide, like, all right, what side do I want to go to? All right, we gonna stand next to each other and then disperse whenever they ready. And they line up on the hash, so I'm thinking, all right, they gonna kick it down the hash, but I'm like, nah, just stay where you are. Just you be on the hash, I'll be over here. And the ball come down the hash and it curve over. I'm like, oh. I gotta take the joint back. I said, I gotta do something with this. So start running. I gotta start off slow because I gotta let things develop, you know? So I start off slow. I get through, I missed that first person missed that tackle. After that, I saw the kicker. I said, the kicker don't want no smoke. I took off and I scored, man. Like, I think that watching it on film, I didn't even look at the play, I looked at the sideline. Like, the sideline was hype. I seen the coaches run down the field, players run down the field. Everybody was happy, and so that made me happy because, like, being able to see how much I changed the game, like how much encouragement, how much like determination I gave everybody else to be able to like still fight, like knowing that we still have a chance to win this game. So, you know, it just made me feel good, like I was doing something to better the cause, you know what I mean? No matter how much we were down.
Because the spirit was down, bro. Yeah. The spirit was down. It was just like, man, my guys ain't come to play. But even after that, you still refused to lose. They scored after that, and then what did you do?
Scored again?
Yeah, scored again. Like, take me through that play. Like, what? That was a running play, right? That was a running play.
So, I mean, I wouldn't say we were struggling, but, you know, we had our ups and downs when it came during the run game. But, you know, we made some adjustments. Got back to what we know. And, you know, of course, shout out to my line. Shout out to my guy Bryce too. You know, they played a huge part in my success all year. And to be honest, I don't know where I would be at or how I would look if I didn't have those guys. So, you know, when they played came and the hole just opened up like wide, like it just blew my mind. And so running down, I'm like, I gotta score, like I just gotta go, like, you know, no cuts, no nothing, just go. And so, you know, being able to outrun these guys, like I showed speed I thought I'd never had. Like I was getting tired all year, getting caught, like, but you know, that State's game was big for me because I felt like I had something to prove, especially from last year. Because, you know, unfortunately we had Los go down, and, you know, I felt like that kind of killed it, you know what I mean? But I I just wanted to show everybody that like I can fulfill a role no matter what it is, like, and I can excel. So that was pretty big for me.
Yeah. Respect, man. As a coach, as a player, in those moments not even for life, but to be down and compete like that, it shows me you're one of them, because a lot of guys, let's say they get smacked, they get hit, they go through training camp and they fold. And I know a lot of coaches at the high level. Shout out to my man is at Auburn, OC. My coach, my man Ola's a DB coach at Indiana. They're playing tomorrow or something against Alabama, and I think they look for those moments, some tough moments, right? Even my boy texted me, he's a Raven scout, and was asking about somebody's character and just like how they handle tough moments. And I think even though y'all lost, it's still going to show that you're ready for what's coming for you. The blessing, the journey along the way, because a real dog is going to handle tough times. You know what I mean? And so you've had success, but the losses, you probably would have lost like 5 games in your high school career. Yeah, about 5 and 4 years, right? I believe that, right? So, I think you probably remember all the games if you had to really think, not think too fast, more than all those wins. Because at Wise, man, you played at Wise High School, probably 8+ state championships, can't keep count. Tell me about that. Like, what is like, what's what's that mental toughness to play for Wise High School in those moments where there's a lot of expectation? Because I think a lot of guys, might not be able to handle that, or if they're really a dog, some might have left, some might not be who they say they are, you know what I'm saying? But you've proven to be who you are even when it was tough, so I think you could definitely be one of them ones.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like, it was really just kind of trusting the process, like, letting it flow, like, coming to practice, doing what I got to do in order to be, like, that guy, either next year or my senior year. So it's like, especially during our like training camp, it was definitely hard. I'm not gonna lie. Like training camp sucks. So waking up every day early in the morning, going to practice. It's like, man, like people can't handle as much as you think they can. Like as much as they say they can. Like people are getting tired. They're giving up on reps. All that, like anything you can think of that's like not making us better. It happens, but it's kind of, it's up to like us, like the players, to be able to gather everybody that's not, succeeding as well as they should be, and being able to bring them with you and succeed together. And I think that's like, I feel like that played a good role in our success this year, because it was more of a team bond. Like everybody was kind of like together this year, and I don't know, like it was good. Like, it was just the chemistry was so much better because we've been together for so long that we were able to communicate better, able to socialize outside of football, outside of school.
That makes me feel good because that's my department right there. That's leadership and character. Mm-hmm. So hearing you say that.
You touched heavy on that. And so I definitely think that your words inspired us a lot this year, because we were doubted from the beginning, and nobody can tell me any different. Like, I felt like everybody was expecting us to not succeed at all, like lose every game, like stuff like that. But your words definitely encouraged us to keep going, like.
And vice versa, you encouraged me to do this podcast, bro. Because even though QO won, I got about 3 or 4 DMs of QO guys, talking trash. Yeah, we won. But they would always ask, and I'm gonna show you this before we leave here. They would always ask, yeah, we won, but who's number 6? Right. Mm-hmm. Who was number 6? And when they said that, I said, okay, let me tap into the mind of number 6, and let's peel back the layers. So let's close this thing out, man. I'm gonna fire off a few questions, and you just say the first thing that comes to your mind. Y'all ready? Yeah. Let's get it. Nighttime or daytime? Nighttime, okay. Pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes.
Tupac or Biggie?
Tupac. Biggie.
Mm-hmm. Kendrick or Drake?
Kendrick.
Okay. Who's your most famous friend?
Probably either Coach Trey.
Yeah, right. Or Trent or somebody. Yeah. I like that.
I'm gonna kind of go with shout out to Coach Trey.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say my man Anthony Robinson.
Anthony Robinson.
Was in the 430 for 30. He has his own anime that went crazy.
Yeah.
Knew him since kindergarten. Black guy.
There you go.
Doing this thing, black man.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Least favorite practice drill?
Oh, definitely blitz pickup.
Yeah.
I hate blitz pickup, man. Like, it's not. It's a good drill. Like, don't get me wrong. I just don't like it. Like, it's just they just be doing anything with the blitz, man. Like,
Yeah.
they got stuff on the go.
Yeah.
So you like one-on-ones though, huh?
Oh yeah.
Cause that's offensive guys always like the one-on-one. We get the whole field, and it's just like, come on, man. That's what's up.
Oh, I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm gonna say one-on-ones.
One-on-one.
It's not realistic, right? It's like, come on, man, you gonna want to post right where ain't nobody over there?
Double whip going
Right.
on. I'm like, come on, dog. Your quarterback got sacked 3 times.
Yeah. If it wasn't for football, what other sport would you be playing?
If I wasn't playing football, I think I would be running track.
Track. Yeah. Quick feeds. Yes, sir.
If I wasn't
Coaching, yeah.
I don't know, man.
Would you coach track?
I would think about it, but I would probably.
What you think he would coach?
I think you'll be a personal trainer.
Personal trainer.
Yeah. 'Cause I think all them military workouts that you got.
I'll tell you one thing, I did a wrestling practice, and I never did it again. That was close to the boot camp. All them stairs they had you running, and it was brutal. I wish I finished wrestling, but I could see that with the Navy background, I could probably be really, relative.
Who's winning the Super Bowl?
I would love for the flock to go, but
You say the flock? Eagles
Ravens.
or
no.
Ravens, baby.
Oh, Ravens. Okay, Ravens. Okay.
Yeah.
But
Who you got? Who's going to the Super Bowl?
It's going to be an NFC West team, man. I think that the NFC West right now is too much of a powerhouse for everybody. Now, mind you, the LA Rams dropped it yesterday, but I ain't gonna lie to you, the way Seattle's moving, even with Sam Darnold's mistakes, I feel like it's gonna be a Seattle type.
See, Seattle, is Sam's playoffs gonna show back up where he stiff?
But that's why I ain't trying to drag the conversation, but that's also what I'm saying. Is they figured out a way to overcome what
The
Minnesota
deficit.
couldn't.
Right.
You know what I mean? Minnesota couldn't overcome what Seattle was overcoming. This dude can throw 4 picks in the game and they still end up winning.
Yeah.
That's different.
Okay.
I don't know how mental tough Sam Darnold is though.
All right. We gonna see. We gonna see. Favorite movie? Joker. What you got?
Man is still.
Okay.
There you go.
All right.
Yeah.
My favorite quote is, in order for you to get to the next level in life, you got to get tired of where you are. What's your favorite quote?
I think one quote that it's a sort of abbreviation now that we use, but it's purpose greater than anyone's opinion. Yeah. I think that really stuck with me because coming up, like I was really like worried about what people thought of me, whether it was in school or football, and I kind of let that like almost bring me down almost. But now that I'm confident, I know what I can do. It's like I know what I'm here for. So, you know, what they're saying don't really matter.
Yeah, 100%. Favorite quote?
I'll probably say, can I give you kind of between it? I'm gonna give you 2 real quick. The brand that I have, purpose over perfection, or progress over perfection. Like it's that first P, whether you want to say progress or purpose. You know what I mean? It's all the same for me.
Yeah.
And then 2, like I said, even when I heard that clip, but when you spoke about the acronym GROW, like I said, that really resonated with me and getting rid of all weakness.
Yeah.
And so it's not necessarily a quote, but it's something to live by.
Yeah.
You know, like without growth, you die. I just told somebody that not too long ago. I was like,
Sacrifice.
You know what I mean? You stay in the place where you at, man. You ain't growing.
Yeah. 100%.
Let me follow up with that real quick. Just to shout out a quote, and I got a question for you after that is, well, for one, for me, it's everyone who come with you can't go with you, right?
That's good.
Everyone who come with you can't go with you. So I want to hear, you know, you one-on-one, what's your best game like? Like, what's your stats? What's your numbers? Like, how can I walk out of here knowing that I talked to one-on-ones? Like, I need to hear, you know, and so, you know, just tell me about that and just also reflect on that. So with your journey, you had a good high school, and we've all seen this in life, right? Everyone's not gonna, you know, want to get up like you did and, you know, take it even further. A lot of guys gonna go to college. I came in with 60 guys. I left with 9. right? You said you have it in the military. So to have that mental toughness to wherever you go, shout out to your recruitment process. Continue with everything you talk about today. And I'm sure, I'll be watching you on Saturdays and hopefully Sundays and or just in life as a father, as a business owner, or as a coach. Maybe one day you're at 1's, win a state championship, right? But I just want to know, what's the numbers like? I heard about states, but tell me something that, I need to remember.
So of course I made first team all county. I was a big all-purpose guy. I led the team in receptions, led the team in receiving yards, led the team in rushing yards. I had over 2,000 all-purpose yards. My playoff run was amazing. I had 800, over 800 all-purpose yards.
3 games.
In 3 games. How many touchdowns I scored? 8. And I had, during that playoff run, I had 200 yards over all 3 games, all 3 playoff games. So I mean, I don't know anybody that was doing that during.
Pop your stuff. Yeah, talk your talk. Hold on, wait. Hold on, wait a minute. Hold on. Y'all want to see something? Wait, hold on. I'm glad you asked that.
There you go.
I'm glad you asked.
Right there.
I'm glad you asked. Yeah, come on, talk to me.
I mean, every game that I had, I went through somebody's face. Somebody had to catch it. So ain't nothing much to say. I mean,
Just watch the film.
Yeah, watch the film.
The film was my first few clips gonna tell you everything.
Yeah, 100%.
I cleaned it up slightly as a big brother. Not just the coach, but the big brother. I got to see the journey through. Was it 2104, 2105 all-purpose, 25 touchdowns, 11 games.
Yeah.
So you do the numbers on that, and you talk about how many of those games did we end up making a blowout because of how many touchdowns he scored, and how many games he had to sit in that second half. Imagine if he got 2 more games like everybody else would be.
I didn't have I missed 1 game, then as a whole we missed another game because Duval forfeited. Those are games that
Could touch 25 or something.
I could have excelled in. So
And so we talk about getting to the first playoff game, running over 200 some yards.
Did that.
3 touchdowns. Talk about the receiving yards. Then the next game, out rushing himself from the previous game against the number 2 seed in Churchill. So like I said, I'll talk trash. Ain't nobody in 4A was touching those type of numbers, but a lot of people want to look at the metrics and try to equivalate to, this. Well, what about this guy? Hey man, this tournament don't go.
That's it.
Men lie, women lie.
The numbers don't. All right, guys, man. Thank you so much, man.
Nice meeting you, man. Because when we watch the film, I was texting my man today, Elon, so I'm going to have to show some love, pass out the film.